Hey guys, Cacti here, bringing you guys deck profile number 10 and also a video response to Cyberknight8610's Christmas contest. The deck I'm going to be showing you guys today is my version 2 of Malefic Beatdown. I've changed the deck around a bit and it's been playing pretty well recently, so I'm going to be showing you guys the main deck and then the extra deck. There are some expensive cards in here, but I can tell you guys what other cards you can play instead. But there are some cards in this deck that you have to have, and there's really no way around it, or else it'll affect the speed, and the consistency of the deck. So let's get right into it. 3 copies of Malefic Sabre End Dragon. He's a 4,000 beat stick. You can bring him out by removing from play 1 Sabre End Dragon from the extra deck, and all Malefic rules apply to this card. If there's no field spell, he'll die, but with skill drain on the field, his effect's negated. The only part of his effect that isn't negated is obviously his summon condition, and then the condition that only one Malefic monster can stay on the field. So the effect that prevents all other monsters from attacking is negated, so you pretty much have a 4,000 beat stick right there. This deck is pretty much full of boss monsters in retrospect, so it's a very fun deck. It puts a lot of pressure on your opponent, and it can be a very good deck. 3 copies of Malefic Stardust Dragon. I went with 3 copies of him. He's a trade-in target, 8 stars. You ideally want to pitch him as opposed to Barbaros because he can't be reborn. Again, like Cyber End, you need a field spell or skill drain to keep it alive. And he also protects your field spell from destruction, which is a little nice bonus if you don't have skill drain on the field. 3 copies of Beast King Barbaros. He's another 8-star target for trade-in. He's a 3,000 beat stick with skill drain on the field, 1,900 without. I mean, 1,900 is still good. You can crash into opposing Thunder Kings and that kind of stuff. So it's a very good choice. For any deck that runs skill drain, you have to run 3. One of the more expensive cards in this deck, Reborn Tengu. I think it's running around $15 a piece right now, but the deck, you want to maintain pressure on your opponent so they'll continue to waste resources on your monsters. Reborn Tengu obviously supplies that, being able to reborn himself, pretty much pull himself out of the deck and giving you a 1,700 wall. If you can't get Reborn Tengus, there are 2 other options that I used to play. The first one is going to be Fusilier Dragon, the dual mode beast. He's essentially like another Barbaros in a sense. He's just 2,800. He's a dark, which you can fit Alert Darkness in here if you wanted to. And the other one is Gene-Warped Werewolf. He's a 2,000 vanilla, just dropping him already. He's already huge. You can run over Thunder Kings, which is always important this format because Thunder King is a really prevalent card. So either one of these 2, they come common. Well, I know he comes common. I believe he comes rare. So you can definitely play those if you're a budget player. So yeah, next card, 3 copies of Photon Sabre Tiger. I really taken a liking to this card due to the fact that if no skill drain is present, you can normal summon him, and then he searches himself out to give you a little bit of hand advantage. And also, with skill drain, he's 2,000, and it's just really good overall. You run a 9 beast warrior targets. Well, Sabre Tiger's a beast, but you run 9 of those kinds of targets, and I'll explain why that's important pretty soon. And then to round up the monsters, you're playing 2 copies of Gravekeeper's Commandant. He searches out Necrovalley. I'm only running 2. 2 is really all you need. It's not a necessity to run more than 2, so it's good. With Necrovalley, he's 2,100, so that's pretty good. So that's it for monsters. The deck or the monster count is 17. Moving on to spells, 3 copies of Pot of Duality. It's running around $10 right now, 10 to 12 since I made this video. So Pot of Duality speeds up the deck, gives you key cards that you need to set up your control base of the deck. You need skill drain. That's the ideal cards you want to hit with Duality or Dark Bribe. It's just really good. You need to run 3 Duality. To supplement the Commandants, you play 2 Necrovalley. Necrovalley shuts down removal, chaos decks, and plants. It's pretty good actually. It's like having another skill drain, kinda controlling the graveyard in the sense like that. Only 2 trade-ins. My initial version played 3 because I had more 8-star targets, but now you're limited on your targets. You're only running 6. Ideally, you just want to pitch Malefic Stardust because you run the risk of your opponent reborning your Barbaros if you have no Necrovalley. So just the 2. It works pretty well. Just gives you a little bit more added speed to the deck. 2 copies of Forbidden Lance. Keeps your big boss monsters alive. And it can be used to lower your monster's attack too. And it's chainable. which is always nice. If you don't know what this card does, you select one face-up monster on the field. Until the end phase, it loses 800 attack, but it's unaffected by the effects of spells and traps. And also, a word of warning too. With the Malefic monsters, if you just have a skill drain on the field and you lance one of your own Malefic monsters, the Malefic monster will die because it's no longer being affected by skill drain. So you have to be careful when you have lance and a Malefic monster with no field spell. It could be pretty dangerous. The one copy of Forbidden Chalice, I really like Chalice in this deck. It's just having a mini skill drain or an effect veiler in the sense. It's chainable, which is always nice, and you can target your Barbaros, making him really big. And people don't expect this card. You'd be surprised how many people run into Chalice. And then one copy of Dark Hole, more monster removal. You're not running Reborn or MST. I find MST an unnecessary card, at least for this deck. As long as you put pressure on your opponent, you don't have enough back row to really, get rid of your monsters. So I really didn't find MST a necessity. And then Monster Reborn, obviously you're playing Necrovalley. I mean, Monster Reborn is good, but Necrovalley makes Monster Reborn a dead draw. I mean, you're not going to always have Necrovalley, but I found, Monster Reborn to be actual dead draw. Moving on to traps now. Obviously, you have to run triple skill drain. It's the heart and soul of the deck. It shuts down all cards this format when they're on the field. Obviously, a lot of the cards also run in the graveyard, so you do have to be careful. Shuts down Tour Guide, shuts down Scrap Dragon, synchro effects and that kind of stuff. 3 copies of Dimensional Prison. It does come common. I have super versions, but it does come common. It's like a $10 common right now. It's pretty expensive. So you can play Sakuretsu, but it isn't as good because of Stardust Dragon. So I would try to get Dimensional Prisons if you can. Same with the Pot of Dualities. Pot of Duality really helps the speed of the deck. 3 copies of Dark Bribe. It's a fairly good negation card in my opinion. Negate any spell or trap. The only downside is you -1 yourself by giving your opponent an extra draw. Sometimes they draw into the cards that they need. Sometimes they draw crap. It's a gamble card, but I would prefer to have guaranteed negation over anything. And you're not losing cards yourself. So it's a good card. With the Beast monsters, 2 Horn of the Phantom Beast works really well. You could play 3 if you wanted to. I found 2 to be better. 3 was clutter for me. But then again, you don't see it as frequently if you're not running 3, so it's a good card. It gives you a little bit more acceleration when it kills monsters in battle. Beast equipped with this, you get to draw a card if it sends the monster to the graveyard. It doesn't work on tokens, sadly. And also another change, I played 2 compulsory evacuation devices. I was playing Magic Cylinder, but I figured unless you're playing a mirror match, compulsory is a little bit better due to the fact that you can bounce opponent synchros or bounce opponents' first turn sets if they don't play back row, and you can just go in for the kill in pretty good fashion. So compulsory really works well. 1 Mirror Force and then 1 Starlight Road. Starlight Road, I really hate this card, I'm not gonna lie. When you want it, you'll never draw it, and then when you draw it, you really never use it. But you kind of have to run it this format as a 1 card out to Heavy Storm or Dark Hole and that kind of stuff. So that's the main deck. I'm gonna show you the extra deck right now, really quick. I'm already going 8 minutes in this video. So 3 Cyber End and 3 Stardust Dragon. That's pretty much it. You don't need any more than that. These supplement the Malefic monsters, and then whatever you feel like running. Power Tool, Black Rose, Catastor, number 39. You can run Zen mains or any rank 3 because you can make rank 3s. But these 6 right here are primary for the extra deck. So that's the deck. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And check out Cyberknight8610's contest. So yeah, this is version 2 of Malefic. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the deck. Rate, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Until next time guys, peace out.